Hello Natural Beauties, thank you for clicking on this video. This is going to be my first update for my project pan for 2026. We're going to get started with the first items, and these have no change in their weight. I have been using them pretty regularly, but let's take a look at them. So first up is my Butter Bronzer, and it already had pan in it, so I've been using it pretty regularly. I love how soft it is, but it has continued to weigh in at 55 grams. Also, my CoverGirl powder, this is the Clean and Fresh powder. I've actually hit a teeny tiny amount of pan, but it has not changed. There you go, you can see it right there. It hasn't changed in weight. And this side is a little thicker. It's got a little more product in it. I guess it's just the brush that I use. So I have tried to focus a little more on this side. But you know, once you hit pan, it tends to go pretty quickly. But no change in the weight for that product either. Next, we have another powder. This is my LA Colors powder. And you can't really see a whole lot of difference here, but I have been using this. I've been using this to set my eyeshadow and also like right under my eyes and my upper lip where I just want a little more brightening. But you know, no real change in this, but I'm hoping to hit pan in the next month or so because there is a real nice dip right there. So now we'll move on to my Laneige lip mask, and this is the Gummy Bear one. And we do have a little bit of use in this. We have gone from 42 grams to 40 grams, and I have tried really hard to use all of these items pretty regularly. Now, I don't have all of my Project Pan items in here because I didn't use them all. So the ones that I used regularly, I put those in here, and the ones that I didn't touch, I just figured it wasn't even worth mentioning them. Now, next up is my Rare Beauty Primer, and we went from 30 grams to 28 grams, and this is a really good primer. It does give you a bit of a glow, but you know, we'll continue to use that. I do think we can probably get through that if we use it the entire year. Next, we have my Super Goop. It is a loose powder, and usually what I'll do is I will just kind of sprinkle some of this. You can see that it just comes out of that right there. It used to have a brush on top, but I will sprinkle this like on top of my powders, whether it's this one or the LA Color ones, and then I will just kind of mix it and use that like as a setting powder. Sometimes I will use this additionally on my cheeks because, you know, it has SPF in it, but this hasn't changed either. It has continued to weigh in at 22 grams. Next, we have my Estee Lauder, and this foundation I've been using more as like a concealer. And we have 1 gram of use on this. We went from 106 grams to 105. And then the next couple of products, well, this one doesn't have any change in it. This is my MAC Patrick Star. I was gonna say bronzer, but it's a highlight, and this continues to weigh in at 66 grams, and no real change is visible either. Now, the next one, we dropped down this is 61 grams, not 66. Next is my Dior blush, and this already had a nice little dent in it, and we've continued to build on that indentation there, and we went from 78 grams to 77 grams. Next, we have my L'Oreal gloss, and it's a toning gloss. I have used this very regularly. I tried to use it at least once a week, and this went from 89 grams down to 71 grams. So I was happy about that. And then also this next one, I used it pretty regularly as well. This is my Donna's Whipped Vanilla Cream Curl Enhancing Gel, and this went from 235 grams to 194 grams. And what I liked about this product in particular is that it kept my hair real nice and soft. So I would use this like while my hair was wet, and I would use it to slick my hair back. And then once I decided to straighten it, it actually worked really well. So I was pleased with that product. And then we have this Elemis mask. This is the Superfood Vital Veggie Mask, and I used this a few times. So we went from 66 grams to 56 grams. And then the next product, I didn't weigh when I put it into this project pan, but I weighed it this time. This is a roller ball. It is Nest's Black Tulip, and you can see right there where it is. And I have been using this, but like I said, I hadn't weighed it before, so I don't know how much it weighed, but I really like this brand of perfume. Next is my Wet n Wild. It is a loose powder or a loose pigment, and I have used this several times, but not enough for it to make a difference in the weight. It continued to weigh in at 16 grams. And then we have our CeraVe eye cream. And again, I used this, I didn't use it like religiously or like over and over day after day, but I used this quite a bit, but not enough for the weight to change. So this is still coming in at 12 grams. And then all of my lip products, they didn't change any at all as far as weight, but I did use them. I have not sharpened this lip liner, and it's not exactly my favorite because it's very similar to my actual lip color. So it just doesn't make a big difference. It's not super visible. I do love this Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, but this continues to weigh in at 22 grams. This is still 3 grams. And then the glosses are still 13 grams and 19 grams. Now, you can see some usage in the actual containers, and that's new because these were all pretty much new products. So they hadn't been used at all, but now you can see some movement. So I love that. And I do like these products, so I'll continue to use them, you know, happily. And then we have one of my Fenty lip glosses, and this actually, it gained an ounce, so I don't know, I mean, it gained a gram, so I don't know how that happened. Initially, it weighed 23 grams, but this month it weighed 24 grams, and you can see the usage right there. And I don't think that any usage was visible when we started this project pan either. And then our last two items are an eyeliner. This is my Makeup Forever eyeliner, which I actually unwrapped and opened for this project. And I have not sharpened it. Maybe I sharpened it once, but I've been trying to get as much use out of it as possible because, you know, when you sharpen stuff, you lose a little bit of the product. So, you know, I've been using that regularly. And then lastly is my Mally eyeshadow stick. And I love this color. I have also used this several times, but not enough for it to make any difference in the actual weight. It's still coming in at 4 grams. Now, I did have to use this with like a learning curve. So initially I thought I would use it as like a primer and then kind of set it with shadow, and that did work okay. But ultimately my favorite way to use it turned out to be pretty much to just like draw the shape that I wanted on my eye and then just kind of buff it out with my finger and then go in with whatever eyeshadow I was using. And then I would just keep like my highlight, you know, up top. I would just set that over my eyeshadow primer. And now let me show you my eyeshadow palettes, which I have, again, been using pretty regularly, even though I had like a winter makeup basket that I had pulled. And it's almost spring, so I will pull some spring makeup to use as well. So let's get started with my Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette. So something really interesting, I don't know if you can see any real movement on these shadows, but I have really been using a lot of the black and also the blues. There are several blue eyeshadow looks that I have done, and I went to a neighborhood, like a gathering thing, and one of the people there, they had mentioned that they liked that I was able to do my blue eyeshadow without it looking like 80s makeup. And part of me was kind of like, are they being shady? Because I had also done that blue makeup, that blue eyeshadow with a a Star Wars shirt that I wore. But I just thought it was funny because I've been using the blue more often, and I do tend to get nervous about like 80s makeup, and someone happened to point that out to me. But on top of that, I've been using a lot of the black eyeshadows. So in this palette right here, this is my Urban Decay Game of Thrones palette. And I'm surprised because I've been using these colors and these colors more than I anticipated, because with these two being so like warm and kind of neutral, a little more tamed and everyday, I thought that I would be using these two more, but turns out that I've really been using these two more. And I guess you can see a little bit of movement, especially in that one right there, that turquoise. I've also been using that black pretty frequently. I noticed that these two colors right here don't really make a huge difference. They're not super like bright or visible. So I need to do or attempt more looks with these, trying to make them like more prominent and maybe not quite as blended. And then these just work really, really well. You can actually see some movement in those. Those work really nicely as like toppers. So I've also used this green and this brown pretty frequently. So hoping to continue to get some use, but I love that you can actually see some, you know, some little dents working. So that is what I have done with my project pan so far. We will see how much additional use we can get by the end of March. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know, are you working on trying to use anything up or just get more use out of something? And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.